This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like expecting the leadership of a team captain on the football field, but getting a sea captain. You wouldn't settle for just anything for your team. Shouldn't it be the same for your insurance? So don't settle for just any insurance when you can go with a leader. State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
News team, assemble!
It's back and bigger than ever. It's the Unofficial 40 from Soonerscoop.com. Now, here's the entire Sooner Scoop crew. Carrie, Josh, Eddie, and
George.
All right, welcome back. It is another edition of the Unofficial 40 podcast right here on Soonerscoop.com. The crew is all here. Josh McCuistion joins us from Houston. Eddie Radosevich has come out of the Bat Cave, and George Stoya is here as well. You guys like it dark in the conference room?
Well, it's kind of dark today. Kind of not just like literally dark. It's kind of cloudy and stuff. So.
You got a new shirt on? I know people can't see this, and
no.
they're gonna. It's just.
I've had it. I've worn it before.
Well, you look nice.
Thank you.
Josh, lots of stuff to go. You've been all over
Philly
the place.
Green, by the way. It's
Philly Green?
Philadelphia Eagle Green.
Are you guys excited about the trip to Temple?
Yeah, very.
Have you got the cheesesteak routes planned out?
No, I mean, I've been to Philly, so I kind of know my way around, I think, but excited to go explore on Friday.
We're going to go to Betsy Ross's house.
Yeah. Because if there's one thing that I want to see, it's how she stitched together the, or what'd she do? She's the American flag.
She made the American flag.
All right, well.
That was a joke. We're not going.
I'm a big Rick Monday.
Trusted yourself, Eddie.
I'm a big Rick Monday guy. He saved the American flag at Wrigley Field one time.
No idea what that means. Like most things.
No, but he stomped out the fire. Wasn't it Rick Monday that stomped out the fire when the guy tried to light the flag on fire?
Oh, was that at the White Sox?
No, is that Wrigley?
Okay, that was at Wrigley. Okay. Yeah, they had the whole record blowing up disco, whatever, at the White Sox.
They did.
Anyway, I assume there's going to be some shenanigans in Philadelphia. I'm just going to assume that from you two. Anyway, they'll be off on... You taking off tomorrow?
Yeah, flying on 9/11. Should be fun. It's the date. That's the date.
That.
That's 100% the date tomorrow, 9/11.
Not prepared.
We never forget, 24 years ago.
All right, moving on. Josh, welcome. You've been all over the place this week. Game Day Rewind. And my God, I hope that J.D. Piquel becomes rich because he's just living off of OU content. And that's everywhere I turn around, it's just someone talking about OU. I did watch Greg McElroy's podcast last night a little bit, and he, it's just everywhere. I mean, and that is kind of like the challenge here. It's like everyone is talking about how great Oklahoma is, and you know that players in this day and age, social media, they can't miss it. So it's like, what is this team going to look like? Are they going to regress a little bit? Are they going to ignore all the noise and go out there and play even better? Because this is not just a shit team they're playing this year like it was a year ago.
And the lines dropped to 20.5.
I saw you posted that in the war room.
At least
did it drop another point, George? I thought you said 21.5 earlier.
It depends on what book you look at. There's some that it's at 20.5.
And where did it start?
I think it was 24.5 or 25.5 at the beginning of the week, but like 2 weeks ago it was, I think, like 28.5. So it's dropped a good like 7 points.
We're legally required? What is it at BetMGM? I believe we're legally required every time we
Let
bring
me look that
betting
up. Talk
to
amongst
mention
yourselves.
BetMGM. The official. I don't have any copy for that. I better not say anything. Anyway, you know what I do have copy for? Tushy. And I know you guys have been. It's Tushy Week here at Sooner Scoop on YouTube and on the podcast. The audio podcasts are available everywhere. But Tushy, it's a bidet, and I have plenty of experience. You guys know this. I mean, there's even a message board poster carries bidet. So we've talked about this a lot. I enjoy the bidet. George has a bidet. He has not had a report yet on how it has changed his life like it has mine. But we want you guys to go to hellotushy.com. Use that promo code SoonerScoop, and you can get 10% off your purchase of your first bidet. So 2 million butts love Tushy. Get that 10% off your Tushy with the code SoonerScoop at hellotushy.com. You can go to hellotushy.com/SoonerScoop as well. But yeah, I mean, it's I would say life-changing for me. It has been. I did it back. Eddie, don't say anything. I did it back during COVID and just decided to install one because the toilet paper was running low, and I haven't gone back. So remember, the a-hole is only a dirty word. If you wipe for a limited time, all you guys out there listening get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code SoonerScoop at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code SoonerScoop. And very easy to install as well, as George will tell you when he gets his installed. So, all right, go ahead, George.
Bet MGM 21.5 is the line.
So I'd say that's pretty standard. What was it this summer? Like
that's what I was saying. It was like 28-ish.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
At interesting.
Guys,
Well, I mean,
do you think, like, can you read anything into this game? Like, if OU comes out and responds and just like puts their foot on their throat and buries them, like, does that mean this team's more mature, more grown up, or is that just bullshit for us to talk about?
Maybe a little bit.
I think it means
if you come out
something.
and if you take control early and are able to do it impressively, I think that's what a really good team does, especially when you're a 3-touchdown favorite. It does. Like, I found myself like kind of in between. I was watching something with. It was the Alabama lady that was talking about winning the lottery. Did you guys see that video? Awesome. If she won the Powerball, she was going to give the $70 billion to Alabama, but just the way that she says it, the disdain for Caitlin. But I was thinking, like, man, Alabama, that would suck to cover it. And then I also thought, like, well, shit, you've kind of done this over the last couple of years with Oklahoma. So I'm like kind of in between of, well, is everything like okay with Oklahoma? Like, has officially everything been solved because they won one game? Or is it maybe a little bit of both? Like, Oklahoma's definitely better. Defensively, I think they're pretty damn good. Obviously, they got a quarterback in John Batir. Or, like, I just kind of walked away from Saturday night, like, the more that I went back and watched the game. Is Michigan good? Like, I think that they are. They have a good talent on the offensive line, defensive line, but the way that, and I don't know, just the way that OU from a defensive line perspective was literally just throwing guys around.
You've definitely gone down a rabbit hole that I've avoided, which I've kind of wanted to ask myself that question. I think you drive yourself crazy if you try. I mean, you just got to they don't have a great schedule. I mean, if they get mud stomped by USC, then we know, like, okay, they're not very good.
I think the truth is in the middle somewhere. I think OU's a little bit better, and I think this is kind of one of those barometer points where you go, okay, but how much better is it? I think a really good team goes and plays well this weekend.
Yeah, I think so. And they take care of business. I think we're not going to really know I think we think OU is good, but we're not going to know how good they are until October 11th.
Do you think Auburn's better than Michigan?
Yes.
Josh?
I do.
Is Auburn better than Michigan?
But it's close. It's very close.
Yeah, I think they're comparable teams. I think Auburn can attack Oklahoma in ways that actually might have some effect. I don't think Michigan could hit OU where it hurt.
But do you think Auburn? See, I think Auburn's offense is a different challenge than Michigan, and will really test Oklahoma, through the air if Jackson can. But it's their defense that I don't know if Auburn's defense is as good as Michigan's. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think so.
And I'm not
I mean,
up front, they're comparable. I mean,
I don't think I'm trying to just completely shit on Michigan either. I think they're going to win a fair share of games because I don't think the bottom of the Big Ten's that great. But I'll say this: better to play them last weekend than probably in the middle of November or something when Underwood gets his feet underneath him.
The reality is OU did what it was supposed to do against Michigan. Like, somebody asked me, does your expectation now change for the season? And I'm like, no, the expectation was to always beat Michigan. It's also to beat Temple on the road and then come back and beat Auburn and kick the shit out of Kent State. Like, they should start 5-0.
The way that they did it, though, I think just from a domination standpoint, from start to finish, it does and it kind of falls back on the idea of is this a great team? I think a great team kind of runs away with it, which is okay. It's only the second week of the season. You're still working in some things offensively. And, it was very encouraging. I think that I'm more open to the idea of Oklahoma, winning 9-10 games this year with the way that they played in the onset of the season. I think
there's more hope. There's more hope,
sure.
But the expectation for me hasn't changed.
I can grab onto it now and be like, okay, I can buy into this idea. They're going to obviously have to go do it though.
And it's the way the quarterback played.
Well, and here's what's crazy. Part of the reason I'm dragging ass today is because I went home last night and the Auburn game was just starting, and I wanted to watch some of it, and I stayed up as late as I could. But
what Auburn game?
The Auburn game from this last weekend.
Oh,
with Jackson Arnold. Not like a Bruce Pearl game. They look good, and the other thing about it watching is man, OU went there and won because that crowd seemed jacked on television. And you guys were there. I mean, you know what that crowd is like.
Yeah. I mean, and I guess the other thing, too, is they don't win that game if Peyton Thorne doesn't throw a pick six. Right. I don't think.
But the reason OU won is because Michael Hawkins running. I mean,
yeah, he was good.
He was really good. And you have to expect that John Mateer is going to have some success running the ball because Michael Hawkins. Now, he may not have an 80-yard touchdown run, but it's just.
Well, I think
we have plenty of time to break that. I didn't want to get too much into the weeds on that, but just watching Auburn last night just reminding me kind of okay, this is what's yet to come, and we're going to find out a lot more about this football team. I think this weekend is about, like you guys were talking about, the letdown. What happens if they go in and they just put their neck on their throat and just come out with a blowout win? To me, I think defensively they're going to play well because I don't know about you guys, but every time we talk to guys on defense, I've always come away more impressed with how mature those guys are.
Yeah. Just in general?
Peyton Bowen, talking to him, great to talk to. Seems like he's got his shit together. And, the linebackers, defensive linemen, I mean, we had David Stone this week. Yeah, I wasn't over there with him, but
he was great. He was great. All of those young guys are really good talkers. I do think that, and Bob's wrote about this. I think within the last month going into the season, I think that 2022 group that has been through a lot, they're really good, solid leadership on this team, and I think that maybe that's a little bit of a test this weekend. And there's always some unknown when you go on the road for the first time. Not to mention that just the setting, it's going to be unique in that it's at Lincoln Financial. So I'm very intrigued to just see how they kind of, answer the call, I guess.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
It does feel like, too, this staff has done a pretty good job of really ingraining in their brains the past mistakes that teams have made where they haven't handled success well, which we've rehashed a million times from the 23 season. But even going back to the Illinois State week, how many guys do we talk to? They're well, they could win the national championship at the FCS level. And then they're reciting stats that Brent has given them. Mm-hmm. And then same on Monday. It's they're well, Temple, they've got this great quarterback who's done this, this, and this. It's these guys.
Did somebody tell Derek Simmons that the staff was from Rice?
Oh, I think he just misspoke.
He just misspoke.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
But it's it's interesting how knowledgeable they are on some of these teams that, we don't know anything about Temple, but they'll come out and they'll tell us how great Temple is.
And listen, I do think that Casey Keeler's a very good football coach. I think that's kind of been proven on the record just with what he's done in his career. I don't know if this is just a drastic turnaround where all of a sudden a Temple team that was one of the worst teams in college football, just in general last year, is all of a sudden some kind of power. I mean, they're a 3-touchdown underdog, regardless of if it's moved 3 or 4 points.
Well, you guys, you have the
and they have the bulletin board material from the press conference yesterday.
You have the game from you, yeah.
That wasn't me.
That was you. You were on there.
I mean, I'm on there.
But you weren't the one saying it was a high school environment.
No, I think the whole thing's funny.
I did get a tweet from a higher up last night that was are we really turning opposing team media into bulletin board material now?
I think they should. I want to be public enemy number 1 in Philadelphia this weekend.
You want batteries thrown at you while you're down there on the side?
I mean, I've
Just
been to
protect the
Lubbock.
camera.
I've been to Lubbock. Nothing's going to compare to getting a beer thrown at my head the last time we were down there.
Was that the FU Baker game?
No, it was the last time we were down there, 23.
Okay.
The last time they played?
I don't think I heard that story, Eddie.
22.
Or 22.
Tell it now, but I don't remember hearing
22.
it.
Oh, you blew
One of
like
the
20
students
point.
threw a beer at. It wasn't like specifically aimed at my head. I usually get along with the student sections pretty well because I know what they're up to.
No, but and here's the other thing too. Like when we talk about the defense, like all those guys went through last year. Like on the offense, there's so many transfers. Like none of those guys went through. Well, not none of them. Javonte Barnes did, but I mean, Tory Blaylock wasn't even here. I mean, John Mateer wasn't here. Pretty much everybody in that offensive line was not here. That at least started on Saturday against Michigan. So,
and that's one reason too, Carrie. Sorry to cut you off, but like one thing why I kind of believe that OU won't have this letdown, and don't get me wrong, maybe they'll have some moments, where they lapse or whatever, but like I just kind of trust the leadership on this team. Like whether it's Mateer, who I know hasn't been here, but like he just doesn't strike me as someone that's going to have like a letdown game. And then also just you mentioned earlier some of the guys that the 22 guys that have been through a lot of shit. Like I just don't expect like a Kobe McKenzie or a Kip Lewis to go out there and just not play well, or some of these defensive tackles. Like I just, I and again, maybe I'm overthinking it, but I kind of trust the leaders on this team.
Well, and here's the other thing I wanted to mention earlier, like the leaders are the guys that are playing the best. I mean, like we talked about, or you guys talked about that in the Game Day Rewind, like Kobe McKenzie is playing awesome.
Yeah.
Peyton Bowen is playing awesome. Like the guys that have been there the longest are stepping up when usually those guys can kind of fall off a little bit. So those guys are now in the spotlight and they're playing the best they've ever played. You don't see, I don't know about you, Josh, but I don't remember a situation, maybe in the when they really had to go in mid-2000s in the Stoops years, but you just don't always see guys that have been there for 2-3 years all of a sudden step up and start playing like we thought, to their full potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's and like the thing that I keep talking about when I like I did the Hot 11 today from Michigan, or when I'm going over the tape on the Idiot and that kind of stuff. Like you don't see a lot of plays where you're like, well, this guy's just unbelievable. This guy's just doing amazing things. It's everybody just doing their job, doing what they're supposed to do, being where they're supposed to be. And I just really, like I said, I think this team maybe has some maturity that maybe we haven't seen at times in years past. I think some of that is, I think they have a clear leader in John Mateer. That seems to be the guy that everybody kind of rallies behind, and he's got a voice. But at the same time, you've got guys like Kobe McKenzie that have earned a lot of respect, have kind of paid their dues to be where they are. And obviously Kip and all the big plays he's made. I kind of buy into it. And there's a part of me that's like, from a strictly gambling perspective, I'm like, I think I would want to buy Oklahoma. Like, I'd like to take that line. Like, usually when I see stuff like that, you're like, oh, God, they know something. This team's acting shaky, blah, blah, blah. But there's just a part of me that's like, no, I'm slowly buying into this team. Though at the same time, I agree with what George said earlier. They haven't done anything to change my expectations, really. It's more of the way they're managing themselves.
Right.
Like the way they handled adversity against Michigan is something we know we wouldn't have seen in years past.
Those low 20 point spreads, too, are just kind of weird because you could be up 38-10 or whatever, and then all of a sudden you get a backdoor touchdown that I've seen happen multiple times, and then you're really kind of effed. But we'll see.
Did you guys see what Brent said on the teleconference today?
I did not, no.
Somebody asked him about Auburn and Jackson Arnold on the teleconference, and he basically was like, yeah, I'm not thinking about that at all. I'm worried about scripting today's practice and dominating third downs. That's what we're focusing on in practice today.
They have done that so far this year.
And they asked him, like, well, are you looking forward to, seeing Jackson Arnold and, like, talking to him? And he's like, I'm not worried about someone else on somebody else's team that we're not playing.
Buddy, write that article next week. Stop trying to take that next week off and get your story done now, because I'm not playing that game this
It was
week.
Brandon Marcello.
Oh, okay. He's just here.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a really good guy. Really good rider, too.
He's a good guy. And honestly, he ended up getting a great quote out of Brent. Just that basically said, like,
maybe that's what he was going for.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was going for going into the weekend. I do think that.
Well, you have to remember, Marcelo's background is Auburn.
Sure.
So, like, I mean, that
I forgot about that.
Sense.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I do think that, just like big, grand scale things, too, like going into this weekend, I think you saw marketed improvement from week 1 to week 2. And some of the better teams that we've seen here over the last, 20, 25 years, they've gotten better every week. And I would hope to see that this weekend with an offensive line that's working together once again for the second week in a row. You would hope that you're going to force the issue a little bit in the run game and get some of these running backs going before you really start conference play next week, which is kind of crazy to think that, this thing always flies by, but it's just crazy to think the conference play starts next weekend.
By the way, just real quick on the offensive line. I guess we'll see about Michael Fasusi if he's available on Saturday. I mean, I know he told us after the game he's fine. Would it surprise me, though, if Oklahoma limits him in some capacity this week to make sure he's healthy for next week? No.
And just in case you missed, he got rolled up onto the fourth quarter.
Limped off the field.
What is basically just a sprained ankle is what it amounts to.
He kind of hopped off the field. I mean, he wasn't struggling to.
And I expect him to travel and all of that, but I wonder if it's a situation they say, hey, we're going to give Logan Howland some reps this week.
I also wonder about Tory Blaylock in the same situation. He clearly, had to fight to get back on the field. If it hadn't have been Michigan, I doubt he would have played. I mean, let's reverse it. Like if it was Temple last week and Michigan this week, I think he probably would have sat out last week and waited for this week.
I agree. And that the running back, that to me is one of the bigger storylines. Again, this week is like, what does it look like at running back this week? Do they try to get Jaden Ott and just, run him into the ground in this game to try and get him into a rhythm?
Yeah.
Part of me
like
thinks,
that idea.
I agree. I would do that too.
The odd thing is,
I wonder how much somebody like Taylor Tatum will be involved this week.
Yeah.
It certainly looked like he was available last week. I just starting to wonder how many guys they try to rotate in there. Even Xavier Robinson, they have options, I think, at running back. And if that offensive line can start to gel and become better, which we talked about on the Game Day Rewind, I thought that they took some steps in the run game a week ago against Michigan. I can't imagine that. I don't know. I mean, the way that people are talking about Temple, I guess they're one of the big players to get to the playoff this year.
I want to talk about Javonnie Gibson and his return, but first, I would like to hear about Eddie's wonderful vision that he'll be using Saturday to watch like a hawk the Temple Owls.
You know what? I've been watching a hawk for the last 24 years, Building 7. Football season is upon us, Sooner fans, and that means it's the perfect time to dial your vision before you miss any of the Sooner magic. Did you miss any on Saturday night down in Norman? Huh? That SEC schedule isn't easy, but thankfully LASIK at Enjoy Vision is. You can schedule a free consultation today by going to enjoyvision.com. That is the letter N, J-O-Y, vision.com. Football season is why you LASIK. Enjoy Vision is where you LASIK.
Yeah, you're very 9/11 forward today. I appreciate that, Eddie.
We remember 24 years ago.
Also, you don't
My
have
freshman
to.
football game got canceled. Never forget that.
A lot of things got canceled.
Postponed.
Yeah,
And then we played freshman football game on a Tuesday night.
Okay.
Or Monday night.
Yep.
We were trying to clear off the servers yesterday, Josh, and we probably need some help from you to do that. I ran across the 2020 Zoom folders and just watching some of that back and the kind of questions that we were asking then. Oh, my God. It was like I had to turn that off very quickly, and I just deleted it all. Anyway, I also want to tell you guys that you don't have to mess with Schmitty in the summertime to get in better shape or feel your best. If you are looking for more energy, better focus, or just want to stay ahead of the game, give a friend Will a call at CodyDrugRx.com. CodyDrugRx.com. I guess you don't call him. Log on. That's if you can call him. The number's on the website, CodyDrugRx.com. Also, you can check out NAD Plus injections from Cody Drug. It's the next big thing. A lot of Hollywood celebrities you probably heard about are doing it, talking about it all over social media. But no, you don't have to go out to Sin or what is it, Hollyweird or whatever. You just give Cody Drug RX a call. They'll help you get taken care of. A short telehealth visit, you can get your NAD Plus injection or nasal spray to ship out the very next business day. I've been telling you guys about Chill Mag. It helps you get better sleep at night. It's something that Will recommends. It's better than like the melatonin stuff, or can be for certain people. Reminder, they do custom compound everything in their state-of-the-art sterile lab, including specialized medications for men's health, weight loss, anti-aging, and more. Again, that's CodyDrugRx.com. Feel better faster without the stadium steps. And thank you to Will Douglas. I believe we saw him Saturday at the Oval.
I think the question is, does he remember seeing us?
Yeah, that's probably a good question.
I think that's the best way to say it.
Okay, so, it will be interesting, George. I think if Javonnie Gibson travels, that doesn't mean that he'll play. But if they think that he's close and they want him to go out there to kind of get a feel for what it's like to be on the road, maybe that says how close he is.
I think he is pretty close. Part of me thinks, do you run him out there against Auburn?
He did suit out against Michigan.
Yeah, and I don't know, was he doing like warm ups, like in the sense of running routes and stuff? Do you guys know?
I did not notice. I didn't even notice he was in uniform until halfway through the game.
It's hard to see anything during pregame these days.
Oh my God!
I mean,
it
the
was
people that were down there.
It was so. Just the number of recruits that were in town. They took up one of the end zones, and then the money donors and the social media people over there taking.
And it's not just football. I mean, you have soccer or I don't know.
Yeah, like
soccer.
Ryan Hibble was down there with his
golf and
his
baseball had a couple guys in. It just it gets packed down there.
But
I mean, you asked Brent this morning on the teleconference about it.
Yeah, and he didn't really say what the timeline was, but basically that he's on schedule and that he's doing really well and that he's excited to see him on the field very soon. So I don't know what that means. My guess is either Auburn or Kent State is when his first game will be.
And I don't know how productive that's going to be, as tight as they are with the receiving rotation right now.
And that's why maybe it's Kent State. Maybe it's Kent State that he gets back. And maybe he's available for Auburn, but we don't see a ton of him. And then you get the bye week after that, and then you get Kent State, where they should beat the shit out of Kent State.
Yeah.
If you're continuing to play well, I don't see any reason why you would force the issue there, especially when you've kind of waited this long to get him back.
Yeah.
But
But if you want him to win the Biletnikoff, I mean, you need to probably get him on the field.
I think people, just be aware. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. Like, just because when he gets available or he's cleared, I don't expect that he's going to go out there and be their leading receiver anytime. It's going to take several games, I think, for him to really get into the flow of things.
Yep, I agree. I think it's pretty clear Deion's number one in that room right now.
You feel like he's the guy that Mateer is most confident in, because
him or Keontae?
He did. I mean, he targeted Keontae. I don't have the stats are right there to look at targets. Hold on.
I think that. Well,
it was Keontae's first game, and then Deion. It was pretty clear.
Think that,
Deion was targeted.
Talked about Deion enough.
Deion was targeted 13 times. The next
13
was Satania. Yeah,
that's
at
probably
6.
Oh, was that game?
Kanik at 5. Keontae Lewis was targeted 4 times.
13. I didn't realize.
13 targets for Deion Burks. 7 catches, 101 yards. Mm-hmm. No, but I mean, you're right, Eddie. I mean, it's kind of one of those things too. I think we're a little gun shy just because he came back last year and got hurt again. And but I think the one thing that we're seeing is he's mainly an outside threat so far. He's not getting killed running routes across the middle of the field like he was a year ago. I mean. And I think Jaren Kanik has kind of, made defenses account for him a little bit too, which I don't know. Did you have two? You'd never had 2 guys that were playing well and creating explosive plays at the same time on the field last year, did you?
Did they have one?
Yeah, I mean, they barely had one. I mean, that's why Bauer Sharp is, no longer here. That's all they had. And they misused him for a large part.
Does Bauer Sharp just destroy offenses? I don't think we're talking about this enough. Like, all of a sudden, Garrett Nussmeier kind of like, you're like, I don't know what's happening there. Like, he didn't, not that he, I mean, they went and beat Clemson, don't get me wrong, but like last week against La Tech, they didn't do much. And I think somebody sent me a stat. He and Nick have 7 combined catches or something like that. It's not great.
I think he had a couple fumbles in the first game.
He did.
Ooh.
But to be fair, Nick has only played one game, and he did catch a touchdown this past weekend.
Like 3 catches?
3 catches, 17 yards.
And he did all of that on the heels of his brother dying this week. That's like thoughts and prayers with the Anderson family.
By the way, if you're not local and you don't know, yes, the local radio guy announced that Rodney Anderson had passed away. It was actually Rodney Anderson, who I loved as a fullback at Oklahoma. Like, he was awesome in the mid-'80s.
I think so. He's just a little too soon for me. Like, I was like 4 or 5. Like, I just don't remember him. Like, I know the name, but I don't remember watching.
He was on the team the last time that Oklahoma played a game in the state of Pennsylvania, 1984. Played Pitt.
I think so. Was it Pitt?
42-10. Beat Pitt, 1984.
I think Lydell Carr was the starting fullback in that era before Rodney Anderson.
Yeah, I don't know. I just knew that he was on the team from, 84 to 88, so I guess he would have been a freshman.
Yeah. But big dude. I mean, fast dude. Didn't look like a fullback. And I'm pretty sure he wore 28. So another 28 has surpassed him, but he's a good one. And, rest in peace, Rodney Anderson. But no, I mean, back to the receiver thing. I don't know, Josh, I mean, what are you seeing from Deion that's different this year with Mateer at quarterback versus Jackson Arnold?
I mean, we really didn't see him, though, a year ago. And the one game that we did before he got hurt, he was really good. I was cutting up some of the Timble tape, Josh. I kind of forgot that he had the 3 touchdowns in the opener.
To me, like, he just doesn't look like he's pressing as much, guys. Like, it'll come my way. Like, in the second half, when he had, I think it was like 1 target as of like midway through the 4th quarter or something, he didn't look like, oh, I got to get this, or I got it. Like, he just looked like he was playing within the offense. Like, okay, it'll come to me again. And when you have a quarterback that's putting the ball where it's supposed to go and doing what the offense is supposed to do, and a play caller that clearly is very good. I think if we can draw any conclusion, I know George said something about it in the 10 Things I Think I Know or whatever on Sunday, that like whatever else I'm not sure of, Ben Arbuckle's a good OC. Like I feel very confident in saying, and I believe that coming in, but you always want to see it. And I think it's pretty clear OU has absolutely made a very good hire there.
It was kind of even more validated to do it against Wink Martindale. Like, and he kind of did it in 2 different fashions. The 2-minute warning right before halftime, obviously great drive, and then slowing things down and going the 10 minutes in the 4th quarter to end the game.
Is he better just going the length of the field? Like, he doesn't want short fields. He apparently just wants to drive, and speed or long doesn't matter, but he wants to go some distance.
And look, the other thing about, the press conferences on Tuesday, I don't think these coaches are stupid. They know that they can't run him 19 times a game. I mean, they know this. Yeah. I mean, Brent
said it.
Yeah, Brent said it, and it's one of those things, though. You kind of ask the question just to kind of get that quote, and I don't think they like the question because they know, like, you guys should be smart enough to know we're not going to run him 9. But how much can he run? How much do you want to run him? Ideally, you want to get that running game going. So you're not always in, 3rd and 8 and 3rd and, it has to get going. And look, I think it will. I think that offensive line they put out there, that thing's going to start to gel. And, we're watching the field level tape a lot this week on the shows we did. You see guys, I mean, like, you see Heath Ozida blocking guys up. I mean, you see Jake Michaela, I mean, just holding ground and people trying to bull rush him and not being able to do it. I mean, that one dude that was the transfer from Clemson, the Williams dude, he was a massive human being on the defensive line for Michigan.
They certainly have guys that look the part. Michigan does.
Yeah.
I would say, too, like on the Mateer stuff, and George and I talked about this on the practice report on Tuesday that you can see on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel. It is kind of, I don't know. At least to me, I think it's kind of interesting that I think when people think of John, they think of this kind of smaller statured guy, when in reality, his measurables match up with somebody like a Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Not saying that he's better than Jalen Hurts by any means or anything like that, or he's a better runner with the football. It just, I think he can probably, you don't want to run him 19 times. I'm right there with you guys on that. I just think that he's probably a little bit more durable than we think when talking about Mateer.
Remember Jalen Hurts, his 1 year at Oklahoma, like he came into a press conference one time and his hand was all taped up. Like he wasn't unscathed even in the Big 12 as much as he ran. And you obviously fear, something, a leg injury or something like that, but he's going to be banged up through this SEC schedule. I mean, what is it? 8 of the remaining opponents are ranked right now. I mean, and by the way, the first thought that came to my mind was not so much Baker when we started seeing him play, but it was Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think he's a better thrower than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts was that guy, like, he was just bigger and more physical than people. He would just run through tackles. I think Mateer's got a little bit more wiggle to him than Jalen did.
Also, I was going to say... Go ahead, Josh.
Just his stop and start stuff, guys, like, he's not as explosive as Kyler was, but, like, that's the closest thing I've seen to Kyler and his ability. What I was joking about with the Low Sooners broadcast, the Matador stuff, like, because that's what he looks like people just flying by. It's almost like a bad football movie where, like, they stop and the guy just flies into the crowd, like tackling people on the sidelines. Like, it's that kind of stuff, and I mean, he does it repeatedly, so it's not just blind luck. He really has some pretty elite level change of direction. I don't know if you guys have heard Todd McShay going bananas about him this week. Like, he is super high on John Mateer.
I was looking at the 2015 stats. I don't know why. I think it's a very comparable season for a lot of reasons.
Because first new offensive coordinator, first quarterback, year in that not in the system, but at OU.
Right, and they kind of have a similar schedule. Tough game early in the year, second game against an opponent that you think might be good, but might also not be very good, like Tennessee was. And they only ran for 161 yards against Tennessee. OU only ran for 138 against Michigan. And I'm looking at the box score here. They really didn't run the ball very well that season until they lost to Texas. They only ran for 67 yards in that game in 2015 that they lost. And they turned around and it was 232, 405, 265, 279, 241, 333, 344. Like they started, it wasn't until halfway through the year.
But it wasn't until Texas till they fixed their offensive line issues.
Correct. And so that's why I wonder. And they also did the third game. They played Tulsa that year. They ran for 286. So I don't know. Maybe you could see them start to click this weekend in the run game. But it's important. They're going to have to be able to run the ball better than they did, or at least in a different way than they did against Michigan, because I just don't think it's sustainable to run Mateer. I think you can run Mateer like 10 times, 12 times maybe, but you certainly don't want to do it 19 if you don't have to.
Well, let me ask you this. Do we all agree that Bill Bedenbaugh has the correct offensive line out there right now that started against Michigan?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Josh?
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contrast. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
I think... Wow, sorry. Something just randomly started playing in my headphones. That was a little wild. No, I think they do. Because I think you have to make a choice. And I'm fine with it. Like, I didn't see anything where you're like, well, Logan Hallen's got to be the guy at right tackle. That's really the only thing that I think is a valid question. But I get it. Like, move forward. Like, pick your 5 and go on. And, like, you need to let those guys start coming together. Because Auburn's still going to be a trick with as little time as those guys have spent together. And then you have, Temple and Kent State to kind of fine-tune some things.
Let me ask you this. As the season moves on, and those guys, Fasusi's more experienced. Ozaida's fine. Jake Michaela is getting it down. Do you maybe experiment with, putting Foje in there a little bit for Becci?
He's been your best offensive lineman.
But just on talent alone, could he make you better?
I think one true freshman is enough right now.
Well, I said as you go along in the season, and guys,
the schedule's going to get harder and harder and harder, though. I don't know if that's time for toying with an offensive line, especially if they're playing well.
Maybe you just run some more of that I formation. Just get Foje on the field.
That was awesome.
That was sexy. Get him out there with the six-man O-line.
I thought of you as Ryan Foje is running out onto the field, and I was like, oh, shit, who's coming out? And then I was like, oh, they're going 6, 4th and 1. And worked out, too.
So beautiful. I don't need a lot more in life.
It was just a question. I just wanted to throw it out there.
I'm not saying it's a crazy question because I do think that they might try to get Foje some snaps.
But does that? I would assume they flip he and Ozaida more than they would flip he and Fabecci.
Guys, to me, like Fabecci's the guy you know the most about of those 5 up front. Like he's the one that you're the most sure of what you're going to get week in, week out. And again, I don't think Fabecci's special or anything like that. I think he's a solid player. To me, what you would do is like maybe a drive or two before you're going to shift your offensive line and start putting in more and more of the 2s. Get Foje out there for a couple series. Let him work with those guys a little bit, and then he can stay in there with the 2s, and the rest of the guys can cycle through. But at least get him some reps with the 1s. Like get him, because guys, I think we all expect he's going to be your starting right guard next year. Get him all the reps you can steal for him.
All right, we can get back to some football stuff. Josh, I know you're running short on time, and that's my fault today. But let's get into some of the recruiting. I know we've had a couple of updates this week from Harry, and you've continued to track things. But what is the latest here on a Wednesday afternoon from more feedback that you're hearing from the big weekend?
Well, we got to
and obviously
start with
a commitment,
yeah. Demare Dezeurn, kid from Pacific Palisades in California. Guys, I went back looking, and when Brent arrived, I kind of thought, well, the California thing's dead. Like it's just not. They're not going to recruit that way. Lincoln's going to make such a focus of it, and he'll work hard to make sure Oklahoma doesn't have any success out there. Can you guys guess the last time they signed a player rated this highly? Who that player was from the state of California?
Joe? Oh, Buki?
More recent than that.
Buki?
Yeah, it was Buki. Buki was the last one.
Shout out.
And that's one of those comparisons you almost hate to make because people are like, well, that doesn't tell me anything good. But it just is what it is. But guys, this guy, if you haven't watched his tape, he is unbelievably fun. He's Hollywood Brown. That's what I see when I watch him. He is that explosive, that twitchy. He's the guy that is, outrunning angles where a guy has a 10-yard advantage. He has no business beating it. And he's just so fast it doesn't matter. He's a ton of fun, good return guy, and has legit track times. I think his best time last year was a 10.32. He can really, really go. And I think this is one where I know we talk a lot about the front office and the coaching staff. Maybe almost in particular, Stacey Ford, the guy they brought in here in the spring. I think his connections at UCLA and Southern California and I think he opened that door for Oklahoma, and then, really, Emmett Jones and everybody else kind of walked through it. But this is a really nice get for Oklahoma. Now, he's been to campus once. He doesn't this is not a guy that I think's been inundated with all of it. It wouldn't shock me at all if at some point he opens it up, looks around, decides to take some trips, whatever. This isn't a situation where I feel like this is locked in and done. But should Oklahoma get their quarterback commitment in less than a week, hey, maybe that helps. And you start having those guys really talk and communicate and try to build that bond.
Josh, what is the latest with Peyton Houston, the 2027 quarterback?
Peyton, and for those that don't know, he announced, or his father announced, that they weren't going to be doing any media this week. They've been real quiet. From everybody I heard that was around him this weekend, loved the visit. Went as well as it could have. He's super comfortable all the things we've talked about. Like his relationship with Arbuckle's really, really strong. And I continue to like all that I hear there. What gives me pause, and I've had some people ask me, like, why haven't you put a prediction in for him? He's going to LSU this weekend, and I just can't shake this feeling of, like, what if this is a Bo Bentley deal? Because, guys, Bo Bentley grew up an OU fan, grew up, not far from Norman, and went to LSU. And, guys, there are people that will tell you he was a silent commitment when he left LSU. Like he had decided he was going to LSU. He felt like he owed it to OU to take the trip. That is a version of the story.
They got that stupid family style creme brulee restaurant that they're going to take him to.
So with Peyton, I don't think the connection to LSU is strong, but he's a Louisiana kid, guys. We know how hard it is to go and pull talented guys to Louisiana. And as I talked about the other day on the recruiting report, I've talked to some people down there that will flat out tell you LSU may well have him as their number one guy on the board. Like, they like him a lot. He's really climbed. Like a year ago, LSU I don't think was even that involved, and I think it's really changed over the course of the year, which says something for, OU evaluating him early on and making him a priority, and Arbuckle doubling down on that once he got to Norman. So I think that speaks well of the situation, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like I give LSU a puncher's chance. Like, it's possible that it all comes together, and it definitely feels like LSU has really ramped things up in the last month or two, but I kind of feel like it's going to be too little too late, largely built on I think LSU wants two quarterbacks, and I don't think that's what Peyton sees. Like, I think he wants to be the guy in his class.
And the other one's Nussmeier's brother, right?
Yeah, there's Nussmeier's brother, and there's another kid from Louisiana named Elijah Haven that's a kind of potential 5-star guy that everybody's very high on. So LSU has good options, but I get the impression they would very much like Peyton to be one of those options. I just don't know if kind of what they have envisioned is what he's got in mind.
Josh, if they're able to get Peyton Houston, what could that do for the 27 class? Like, he seems like the type of guy that, we always talk about it. You want to get your quarterback in the class early and he can go out and recruit guys for you. But it seems like with Peyton, he has a real connection with a lot of guys.
Yeah. He is a kid that does lots of 7-on-7. He's out in the mix of all this stuff. He knows guys from, and not like, some guys know kids from their region or their state or their city or whatever. Peyton knows guys coast to coast. Like, he knows lots and lots of people. And part of that is also because he's taken lots of trips. He's been to USC, he's been to LSU, he's been to Clemson, he's been all over the place. So he has a lot of familiarity with a lot of people. And because he's well regarded, because he has a huge offer list, he's also respected amongst his peers. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we know this kid can play. The school I'm thinking about going to is going to get him. Maybe I should look at OU. So it's very big. And guys, we all know, you look at the best classes OU has signed for decades now, almost all were started by a quarterback. Like, guys, we can talk about Jackson Arnold whatever, but when he jumped on board, all of a sudden Peyton Bowen became possible. Sure. And you watch that class really grow over time. I would say Bo this year is really the one exception, but it's large. And part of that is born of Bo committed later. Like, if he had been in early, I wonder how different 2026 looks. But again, I think it's huge because it gives you a credibility. Like, this is the guy that's going to be your quarterback in your class. Every guy in that class knows we're not going anywhere if we don't have the right guy at quarterback. And between Bo and Peyton in back-to-back years, sure, maybe one of those guys doesn't hit, but the odds neither one of them hit under Ben Arbuckle seems pretty small to me.
Josh, who would you say that this past weekend OU made up the most ground on?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say, and I know there's going to be people that are going to kind of argue or that will be yelling. It's clearly Demare Dezeurn because he told Steve Wiltfong, like, he was leaning to UCLA when he made this trip, and then he loved OU. Guys, the name I'm going to say, I brought him up last week as kind of it's good OU's getting that visit, but he'll never come, is probably the Joshua Dobson kid, the corner from South Carolina that's like the number 4 overall player in the country. He talked to our guy Harry. We've got a story up on the front page right now. Just went up in the last went up about 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So Go read it if you haven't. But this is a guy, like, he's talking about OU being right at the top of his list of schools. He can't wait to come back. Like, there are real vibes here with this guy. Now, we know that's the first half of the battle. We'll see what NIL looks like and what, Clemson and South Carolina and all these other schools that are involved with him are going to be willing to do. But Oklahoma definitely, I guess, like I said earlier, kind of put their foot in the door. Like, they have a chance here to develop this relationship. And, Jay Valai can start to point to, look at Cortland Guillory, man. You come in here and you're ready to play, you're going to play. Like, and that's all there is to it. So that also gives them a lot of credibility that they've got, two freshmen that are already, people are like, well, they're going to be on the freshman All-American team between Guillory and Fasusi.
Okay, Josh, so I know you have just very little time left. Tell us anything, kind of what you've heard, scuttlebutt, since, the recruiting report on Monday and maybe since nothing that you haven't put on the board yet because we don't want to, upset people. We know how that went on Monday. But just overall, is there anything that's just big picture-wise that you really liked about last weekend in their, 07, 08, whatever? Or even 06 stuff?
We're talking
26. God damn it.
I think I have a really good...
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Feeling Sam Bradford's going to commit to Oklahoma in the 2006 class.
But have you seen that offensive line he played behind, Eddie?
They were fantastic.
Hell of a line.
A couple of Langston signees. Got an OSU signee as well.
Also a possibility. Yeah.
Well, I would say, and again, I keep putting it off because something else will come up. And then there'll be a news story or something I need to kind of write a quick bit on. Kellen Hall, I need to write the whole story up, but he loved that trip. It really, really went well. I think, just like I said, he's going to make repeated trips. I think that is a tremendously good sign. And then when you talk to, I would say if there's one position where it felt like OU really did well this weekend, I would say it was the defensive backfield. Like guys like Jerry Outhouse, the DB from North Crowley. And again, if you could get your foot in the door there at North Crowley with the way they've kind of got it rolling right now, that's what it's like, well, that's what you always wanted to do at DeSoto. So maybe North Crowley can become Oklahoma's DeSoto, where they actually have a chance to kind of get in there and really land some guys. But I mentioned Dobson. I think they clearly lead for Montre Jackson, who I went and saw last Thursday night and is a freaky athlete. He's still so somebody made fun of me the other day for saying raw, so I'm trying not to say raw, but I can't think of a better way to say it. He's still learning a lot, but with the physical tools, he's 6'1", he's super long-armed. There's a lot there with some time. And again, I always talk about what a technical coach Jay Valai is. He could do wonders with a guy like that. And I would say the other one, guys, and it's nothing he said because Cooper hasn't said a lot, but Cooper Witten, from people I talked to, that went really well. They're really pleased with where that is, what's going on there. I think it's a situation where he's close to Oklahoma. He's not a kid where NIL is going to decide everything. Obviously, based on who his father is, they don't have to make decisions based on that the way some other kids might. That doesn't have to be the world he lives in. And I think he just likes Oklahoma. He likes the way the linebackers are playing. And, again, we keep waiting for Oklahoma to land that big fish at linebacker, and it hadn't happened yet. But if you could find a way to close on Cooper Witten and maybe go get Case Alexander at Washington, again, I made the joke the other day, I don't care what else you land in the class, you're going to do well.
I haven't followed it super close, but is the thing with Witten, Tennessee has a pull, but he keeps coming back to Oklahoma because of DeMarco and his relationship with his dad?
That's a really big part of this. I mean, is DeMarco and Jason are obviously really close. They played together for years for the Cowboys. For those that aren't making that connection, what I will also say is I think with Tennessee, I almost think they're like and I see this all the time with kids, like where there's an obvious like, oh well, everybody thinks he's going to go here, and a guy will work really hard to prove otherwise, and that may be all this is. That may be what this is Cooper's just trying to convince people, hey, let me have a look at your school. Who knows? And then he goes to Tennessee anyways. That's entirely a possible outcome. At the same time, that's not the vibe people get from him. Like that it's just like a token visit or he's coming to see DeMarco because obviously that DeMarco's done him since he was a little kid. I don't think that's what anybody's picking up. So it's tough to read because Cooper doesn't say a lot, and even when you get him to talk, he's a smart kid. He's not going to give you anything. So again, though, I like what it is, and his kind of mentality and the way he looks at things seems to fit Oklahoma very well, in my opinion.
It just seems like this is the kind of the exact result of what we were talking about a week ago, and how important going out and playing well, how important, just to a certain extent, I guess the atmosphere even was. I don't know how you could walk away and, not be pleased with everything that happened on Saturday night, but obviously there's a long way to go. They're going to have to sign these kids, get them to campus, all that kind of stuff.
Well, like like we've talked about, Eddie, I mean, you had SEC kids. I mean, the kid I keep pointing to is Jalen Scott, but he's far from the only one that's been like, that was the best environment I've ever been in. Like, I've never seen it look like that or feel like that, and it was just amazing. And that, I mean, hats off to the OU fans in that case. Like, I mean, that was, I know you guys were telling me while you were there, but it came across on TV. That looked like a place you wanted to be. Like one of those games we'll look back at the end of the year and be like, if there were 10 games I could be at, that might have been one of them. So that's awesome. So I think that is what you're seeing resonate. And then kids get swept up in this stuff. Like the kid that just committed, the Demare Dezeurn kid, I don't know how sticky that's going to be. I don't know if that's going to last forever. My gut tells me no. But regardless, Oklahoma football hasn't produced a lot of moments like that, guys, that kids could get swept up in the moment in recent years. So that's a step in the right direction. Like, that's what you want is kids that, like, you're almost having to slow down and be like, hey, go talk to your mom, talk to your dad, make sure everybody's on board with this, rather than, hey, man, we really hope you come back. Like, next time it'll be better. Like, you're not having to give that kind of, sorry it didn't, the weekend wasn't all we wanted it to be.
All right, last thing, we'll let you go. Next, your prediction for next, not Peyton Houston, next commitment that visited this weekend.
Oh, damn it. You took away a good one from me there. I am going to stick. I'm probably going to stick with Daniel McMorris. I'm a little surprised. I kind of thought maybe we were going to be on the Xavier Okalaf. Oh, man, now I'm doing it, Eddie. Okafalese. I think that's lazy, something like that. We're real close.
Better get right. He likes almost everything we put on Sooner Scoop Instagram. Shout out to George, by the way.
It's Michaela and Okufulezi.
Oh, look! Oh, man!
On my shit
but
today.
Anyway, I kind of thought they were going to follow that same model with McMorris, and maybe he'd get an offer on Monday or Tuesday of this week, and then we'd kind of be on a clock to see when he commits. I honestly think Oklahoma may want to see where a few pieces kind of fall with the rest of the class. Like, okay, we're going to have to use that here, this here, that kind of thing. I know they're still looking at a couple other tackles. May have some more on that in the scoop this week. We're going to look at some things, but they are definitely in the market for another tackle, and he's one that makes a ton of sense to me, even though he's a project guy. Like, you're going to need some time with him and let him grow, but I don't know at this point in the game you're going to find a lot of guys who have more upside than Daniel McMorris does.
All right, Josh, appreciate it. We'll let you go pick up the kids, get out of here, and continue on. So thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Keep working on those backhands. The backhand, that's the most important.
Yep. Yeah, we got the Laney's tennis is going strong. So.
Tennis, by the way,
right,
folks.
guys.
We're not trying to have Josh beat his children.
Any more than have to. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, so moving. Any last thoughts just from last weekend in Michigan before we move on completely to Temple?
I don't think so. I mean, it definitely, kind of like Josh said, I think that's going to be one of those weekends that you look back on and we're glad to be a part of it, I guess, in some form. But you really got to kind of build off that. And that's what I'm super interested in now is how good can this defense be? How much can they take out of a big win and carry momentum? Because I think that's like not necessarily one of the final boxes, I wouldn't say, George, but it is one of it's part of like the bigger picture of having a successful season is not stumbling now before you get to maybe even next week to a certain extent, just the first conference game in Auburn, but certainly getting to the Cotton Bowl 5-0.
Yeah, they just need to go win this week. Go figure some shit out this week. Go play on the road. I don't know what the environment's going to be like this week, but I think there'll be some people there.
But we know our mics are hot, so you're not really giving us your true feelings.
Well, no, I actually think it's going to be a pretty, I think the lower bowl will be pretty full.
Yeah, we kind of said as much on the practice reports yesterday. I do think that fan base.
I think Temple's going to show up.
The fan base is excited for this game. Excited for everybody to watch our interview with Kevin Kopp from Temple, the play-by-play voice. Just
he was much more upbeat this year too, than he was a year ago.
I think anytime that you bring in a little bit of new blood into the program, you have hope that this is going to work out. And I think that Casey Keeler is a guy that has connections back into the tri-state area and certainly wants to do well. I think this is a job that for a lot of people out there, probably myself included, that kind of roll their eyes at the idea of Temple football being good, but I do think it's important to him. So I guess I wish them nothing but the best, right? Temple football should be good. I liked when Matt Rule had it going there for a minute.
Any other games this weekend pique your interest?
All the night games, all the afternoon night games, and especially in the SEC, I think because we obviously pay a little bit more attention to that right now. But I think Georgia-Tennessee is going to be fascinating. I don't know if I could sit here and just say that I know anything about Georgia. Just looking at the box score from last week, I know it was kind of a weird game because they had to move the start time up, and then they had the delay in the middle. That wasn't necessarily impressive, though, to beat Austin Peay, 28-6 or something like that. It was probably more of a, all right, let's just get out of here type game. But I'm interested in that. I'm interested in
Clemson, Georgia Tech?
Very interested in that.
I
That's
think
a
Georgia
good
Tech
game
could win
early in the day, too. On Saturday, I guess it's going on during the OU game. And then,
now, is Georgia Tech's quarterback healthy?
There's questions about it. I think that they feel like he's going to play, though. Haynes King.
Yes.
And then, I think Saturday afternoon, Miami, South Florida, all of a sudden has become very interesting for all the obvious reasons with South Florida. Do you guys have a problem with the AP vote? I know that's been a big point of contention.
What was that girl?
The girl, yeah, that
doing?
Was a little.
I don't know. She certainly didn't help herself trying to talk her way out of it with the video that was out there.
When you say
she just needs to say, "Hand up! I didn't see the Florida game. I didn't realize they lost." Surely that.
But also, here's the thing: the AP poll doesn't matter.
No,
I mean anymore. It used to matter a great deal, but it doesn't matter anymore. So it does. I'm not offended that someone screwed up their vote. I mean, coaches would do it all the time. I mean, when they, and then they would admit I let my SID vote for me.
So would you push back on the idea? And I don't know what I believe on this, but the AP poll in general is somewhat important once you get into the middle of the season because it creates a perception of these teams for the College Football Playoff Committee.
I would agree with that.
But I also think that the pushback on that would be the College Football Playoff Committee knows what happened in Gainesville.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is a complete embarrassment to the conference. It's just kind of crazy. I don't know.
That Florida LSU game I think will be interesting. I mean, I'm not saying Florida's going to win that game, but they have the talent to hang in that game. They just need to not do stupid shit.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
We'll find out a lot when Miami plays South Florida this weekend. You gotta have the CW.
You know what's going to be a good game too? Everybody's talking about Notre Dame A&M, and I'm excited for that game. That's a fun game.
I know where you're going.
South Carolina Vanderbilt.
Yep.
That is a fascinating game to me. Vanderbilt's playing good football.
Clark Lee's done an unbelievable job turning that thing around down there, and obviously they have a quarterback. I mean, I think you look at a lot of these teams right now in college football. If you have a quarterback, you're ahead of the game for just about everything.
How about a little Darian Mensah revenge action?
The Mensa Bowl.
Yeah.
Tulane.
Duke did not. I think Illinois might be okay. We're going to see what they really are here in a couple weeks when they play USC in Champaign. But I wasn't very impressed with Duke. They had a lot of drop balls. I know Andrella Anthony had a pretty sweet touchdown grab in the back of the end zone, toe tap. But I don't know. Big 12 just kind of sucks. Just looking through the schedule now.
I mean, obviously, Tennessee has as much hype behind it right now as OU does. So it's going to be...
Do they?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think just because of the Nico angle and that they got a quarterback
they're
who's
playing well.
actually outplaying him right now.
I haven't really seen. I just saw that they put up, 72 or something last week?
No, I think Tennessee, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon are the four teams that most people are talking about nationally right now.
Well, and Oregon is just because they
murdered OSU.
Boat raced.
And Dan Lanning's a crazy person.
He's a big grudge guy. There's no doubt about that.
So do we think the Mike Gundy era is over? Is this it?
Kind of feels like it.
I don't know how he rebuilds that thing.
And what does he have to do this season to survive? Like, what's the bare minimum he has to do to keep his job?
I mean, there is some level of just being competitive, but I think that, realistically, you probably...
I mean, is it a bowl game?
8 wins?
Yeah, I think it's like they could make a bowl game and they still fire. Like if they go 6-6, I think that he could still get fired.
I think that there's a part of him that he's probably he's going to have to be taken out of office. Basically, I don't think that he's ever going to give in because of the battle that they've had every offseason over the last couple of years. I'm surprised though how bad it's gotten.
It would help. That
game was over. We talk about the South Carolina game starting at 11 a.m. and being over at 11:15 last year. That game started at 2:30? It was over at 2:31.
His family has to stop making statements that he is OSU football and that they wouldn't be anything without him. That is not good.
Certainly not helping.
I think there's some arrogance there. And I guess I kind of see where they're coming from because he has done an incredible job. I'm surprised how quickly that thing fell off. And, the quarterback situation certainly doesn't help. I thought Haas Henne looked good in those 3 series that he had in the Tennessee Barton game. But I don't know.
I don't know if their defense is worth a shit. I mean...
Well, they had to basically go in and get...
They replaced everybody.
I don't want to say pick up the crumbs from the portal, but to an extent, that's kind of what they did, didn't they?
It's just a bad look when they've gone out and overpaid for all these in-state kids just to get wins, and it doesn't look like they paid that much attention to other areas of NIL.
That's something we should have asked Josh about. Well, we could talk to him about it here as the season progresses, but it will be interesting if Mike Gundy were to get fired, what happens to some of these guys that maybe OU overlooked or didn't get, thinking of maybe not necessarily Kewan Jones, but the kid from Owasso, the defensive tackle,
Taj
Overton. Would you revisit that if he all of a sudden reopened his recruitment? I don't know. I don't know what the plan is going to be for Stillwater.
I mean, if they're going to go out and get the same price that OSU paid, then OU won't be a player. I mean, for some of those guys. I mean, they're not. It became clear they're not paying Caden Jones what OSU was willing to pay him.
But does a new staff come in and say, well, we're not going to pay this guy that much either?
Then you're screwed, yeah.
My OSU buddies would be able to tell me better, but, was talking to somebody, one of my best friends, on this past Saturday, just kind of about the game and how bad it was. And I think for a lot of them, it's very defeated in the idea that because they're not paying what it takes to get into the NIL world for some of the top players. It just kind of feels like they don't care, which I think we've always talked about, even with OU football. When you lose the fan base like that, where they just don't even make a point to watch games on Saturday anymore, there is kind of a point of no return, especially in today's world where they're going to be turning around during the offseason. And even if they were to hire a new coach, you're going to the fan base and basically saying, we need your money for recruiting or whatever.
Well, and it also speaks to something completely different, which is when you say if they're not going to pay them, if Mike Gundy gets fired, basically they've established their own GM in Kenyatta Wright. Like, does he go with Gundy? And does the new coach? I mean, that's why OU set up in that situation is very good, because you have a personnel department. You have Jim Nagy that's operating separately from the head coach, trying to get the best players and build the best roster with the money he has. At OSU and Georgia, like Kirby Smart says, he doesn't want anybody outside to be evaluating and recruiting and paying players. Like, when the coach goes in some of these situations, the GMs go. And then you're rebuilding everything. If you're doing what OU's done, you're in a really good position if this thing goes south and Brent Venables doesn't remain the head coach.
I know that our buddy Carson Cunningham has talked about it on Twitter, but I think that there's a lot of Oklahoma State fans that would like Zach Robinson to get that call, which I think would be awesome, ZMFR. But because of the way that the NFL schedule works, like with the new the portal opening, obviously in December, I think it becomes pretty tough to start looking at the NFL for ideas and where to go for a head coach.
If he's your top candidate,
sure,
you wait
100%.
You figure it out, and
I think that he would be the type of guy too, because he is alumni. He is an Oklahoma State guy. I think he'd be more apt to.
Well, and you can't think short term when hiring a coach, and like whoever they hire,
it's a good point.
At Oklahoma State, like, it needs to be the next, Mike Gundy, in the sense that like he's going to be here a long time, and I think Zach Robinson could maybe fit that role. So it's like, sure, you might miss out on some guys in the transfer portal, but the transfer portal also isn't their last game December 29th. The portal doesn't
November
open
29th. Oh, you're talking to NFL.
Yeah. The portal doesn't open until January 1st this year.
Because they moved it back.
They moved it back, or January 2nd this year.
An even better point. Well, that completely shits on what I was thinking, and you're right.
But I think he'd be a great hire.
Yeah. I think the pushback on that is, well, if they've gotten to this place because Gundy and staff weren't recruiting, would you take a chance on somebody that has relatively no experience in today's recruiting world?
They need to at least call John Summerall and have him say no from Tulane. I think he's going to get the Kentucky job.
Is Oklahoma State a better job than Kentucky football?
It's a great question.
I think because Kentucky...
Is it better than Arkansas? Because I think Arkansas is also going to call John Summerall.
Oh, that's a great question.
And hell, Florida might too.
I think Arkansas, in the right setting because of the money, which seems endless, because of the SEC, would be a pretty damn good job. It can be a pretty good job, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be fascinating. I think the coaching carousel, there's going to be some good jobs come open. SEC, I think there'll be a couple in the Big 12. So
another, we were talking about the A&M Notre Dame game. I don't feel like I know anything about A&M. I know they kind of struggled in that first week against UTSA. Got a little bit better last week against Utah State. Very fascinated to see what happens in South Bend on Saturday night. I think Notre Dame's pretty good.
I think they are too. I think Miami's pretty good.
Yeah,
and that's that game they lost. I mean, they were in that game, Notre Dame. It just took them a while to get going. I also just think, like, listening to Marcus Freeman, I kind of just believe in that guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Such a good.
What is the line in South Beach this weekend?
South Beach,
Miami,
South Bend. Oh.
17.5, so it opened at 15.5 and's been bet up to 17.5. It's a lot of points. I don't know if I really know a whole lot about South Florida outside of the really two impressive wins. I mean, go to the Swamp and win, that's impressive, and they beat the hell out of Boise State. I don't know if Boise State, though, they've only, what are they, 1-1? They kind of sleptwalked through a 37-point win against Eastern Washington. Shout out Grove Brothers.
All right.
Can I bring something up too?
Oh, I don't know.
NFL.
Okay.
Does Caleb suck?
I think what you're seeing is Caleb Williams is the classic case of a guy with unworldly talent that I'm not so sure he can read a defense.
Yeah.
Like, even his time at Oklahoma, we saw that, right? We saw that at times where his athletic ability, and you can get away with
everything
that in
was
college
off
football.
script,
right? And even at USC, it was very off script. I think we're seeing, and you just can't do that in the NFL. Like that's not something you can just do.
I said this on radio this morning. I'm very conflicted because I've found extreme pleasure in the podcast of just ripping Caleb Williams, but I also at the same time am kind of cheering for him also. And maybe that's because I kind of like the Bears, little Chicago connection, but I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I should be enjoying this more, I think, but at the same time, I do kind of feel bad for him because of everything that we've talked about before. It's been well documented, just
and his
dad and everything else.
I think he still has a chance. It's just like, I think the Bears hired the right guy to maybe figure it out with him. It's just going to take some time, and it's going to take some real like dedication on Caleb's part to figure that part of his game out. But like, I mean, it was clear watching him at OU and USC, like he just wasn't somebody that was, picking apart defenses in terms of reading.
Even
reading
like
them.
in the first half a little bit. I know that we missed like most of the first quarter when he was really good.
And a lot of that was scripted.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I'm like, well, Ben Johnson's got a hell of a script.
He missed some throws though. And obviously in the second half that just, if you're going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, you have to make those in your sleep.
I think I'm more surprised that Spencer Rattler is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Well, that's mostly because the Saints are just totally dysfunctional right now.
George said it yesterday when we were sitting in the conference room. In 2020, if you would have told me that Mac Jones, who might start for the 49ers this weekend with the Brock Purdy injury, he was going head-to-head against Spencer Rattler, back in 2020, you would have been like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Big-time matchup. And Brock Purdy at that point, too.
Yeah, sure.
At Iowa State.
49ers injuries are just insane for 1 week into the season.
Yeah. You know who's great? Baker.
Yeah.
Baker's just, dude, he is.
Did you see the
so
thing
good.
that Mike Sevens said about the audio from like not the audio, but what Baker said in the huddle before the final drive? Basically just like, we're going to do this, this, and this and go win the game. Badass.
And they did.
And they did.
He's so good in the 2-minute drill.
And the great thing is he's always let down in that position. Like they always allow the other team to come back and miss the field, miss the extra point. You're like, well,
Very
shit,
Falcons.
this is just so Atlanta, Tampa Bay.
McLaughlin is a good kicker. I'm not terribly worried about it. I think the Bucks can compete to win the NFC this year.
There's a lot of kicker problems across the NFL right now.
Yeah, there are.
It's like Justin Tucker put a curse on the entire league.
Yeah, but Baltimore's kicker was pretty good.
Didn't they like sign him off the street? Like, wasn't he not even with the team?
No, that was the Bills kicker.
Oh yeah,
the Bills signed a kicker. The guy that made it, old head. I forget his name.
Now, Baker definitely makes Sundays enjoyable.
Sunday was great. I know we were up here super, super late after the Michigan game, but waking up and just having NFL on all day, it felt right in the world.
It's a fun time. It's the time of year that we love the most. All right. Temple this weekend. You guys are taking off tomorrow. Lots more content coming.
Looking forward to it. We're gonna explore on Friday, and we'll report back on the Soonerscoop.com YouTube channel.
Are you running up the Rocky Steps?
We might. We're gonna go everywhere. We're gonna go all the just straight up tourist spots. Should be pretty fun.
Well, I am jealous of your cheesesteak adventure. I've never had an actual cheesesteak in Philadelphia, so
I had the Pats and the Genos. I don't think we might go there just to check it out.
Did you do it like one after the other?
Back to back.
Okay,
it's back to back.
I want to try Angelo's
at like 3:00 in the morning.
That's the one that's atop my list.
What's the one with the French name D'Alessandro's?
D'Alessandro's and Angelo's, I think, are the two that have been.
I've heard
kind of
Angelo's
identified.
is the best.
Yeah.
So
and there's also like a some type of meat marketplace that people keep talking about. I walked through it. I didn't eat there though.
And that's by the stadium, right?
supposedly.
I think what Jim's has been like one of the recent staples in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I think it's still probably pretty good. All right. Well, can't wait to see exactly what we see on Saturdays. The Sooners, they go into a place on the road. You would say, not a let down, but, let up a little bit, performance expected, but we'll see. We'll see how this offensive line comes together. We'll see exactly who OU plays and who they don't to prepare for Auburn. And I'm excited, guys, just to see how Jaren Canick's role continues to expand in the offense.
Yeah, I would suggest...
That's our practice report for today. You go watch that.
I would suggest everybody go read Georgia's story with Cooper Mathers. Ben Arbuckle talked about him on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just kind of how that role has come together and his tutelage of Jaren Canick, who released the T-shirt today, and it looks fantastic.
It's awesome.
Might get one.
We'll take some hats and display them for you, Jaren, if you want. I might just buy a couple just to have in the office. They're pretty cool. All right, that's going to do it. By the way, go subscribe to follow our Instagram page. George is working really hard to bump up the content on that. I know you'll have a lot of your adventures from Philadelphia on there as well.
We'll put everything over there.
Oh, yeah.
So go, it's just at Sooner Scoop on Instagram. Go follow. We're trying to build that one up. Our Twitter page has been huge forever, but we're trying to get into the other, be doing a little TikTok here and there. So just have to wait and see. So thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back again next week for another edition of the Unofficial 40 right here on Soonerscoop.com.